make sure the influencers you try to hire, one, makes sense for the brand, but then two, also like they're very supportive of it. Like if you get anyone to just like support it and just like, oh hey, like check out this fire event, it's really cool. Will you be there? No, not really, but check it out. Like their market reach isn't gonna like go to that. Like, oh okay. I mean, that's cool, but all right. And then scroll on up.
Welcome back to the WazaMedia podcast. My name is JR. I am the CEO of this company. WazaMedia believes in the power of storytelling. We are a digital marketing agency, and we show businesses and individuals how to communicate with laser focus in a media-saturated world. Before we start this awesome episode, I just want to do a shout out to Northwest Registered Agent. They've helped WazaMedia out with our LLC and also with a registered agent. Kind of helps deal with some of the extra paperwork in the background that we don't have to deal with. So really, really helpful for them. If you're looking for a registered agent or looking for a way to make an easier way to get your LLC up and running, highly recommend them. You can use our affiliate link, waza.media/Northwest. That's waza.media/Northwest. I am happy to bring onto the show, we have David Curameng. Thank you for being on the WazaMedia podcast today.
JR, it's so great seeing you again, man. How are you?
Doing well. So for our audience, David Curameng is an entertainment business consultant. He's done work all across the United States, West Coast, East Coast, all the coasts. I think we only have two coasts, right?
Yeah.
East and West. So he's got both coasts taken care of, and we're excited to talk to him today about leveraging digital influencers as part of a digital strategy. So David, as WazaMedia believes in the power of storytelling, could you tell us a little bit about your story?
I like to start off by saying this, and it's true. I wanted to be in a boy band 20 years ago. Backstreet Boys and NSYNC were red hot, and I remember originally I wanted to make fun of them, but the more I rehearsed with like for my friends, like the more we got into it. And then when we performed live and then heard all our like middle school and teenage and high school friends like screaming, I was just like, I know what I want to do for the rest of my life. But the funny thing about it was I was kind of taught like essentially how to run a small business then. Like I was just learning like one, how the music industry works, two, how to gel in a group, three, how to lead. My other four teammates were very talented in other aspects, but for some reason, I just felt naturally drawn to the business side. So I tried to find us gigs, making sure all of us are working together as a team, trying to find a weak spot. And then when I went to college, I realized business was kind of intuitive for me. And then after graduating, my senior year, I had two internships, one in marketing and then two in entertainment. The girl group Dream from 2001 back in the day. They were very gracious enough to give me an opportunity when they were doing a side project. Really quick shout out to Diana, Ashley, Melissa. You guys are awesome. And then since then, I graduated at the height of economic crisis. My time shifted, and so I started working my way up in healthcare consulting. But I was able to reconnect through entertainment thanks to my cousin, David Curameng. And from there, I was more or less kind of helping out Movement Lifestyle against agency, just on the side, just essentially being their box boy and like helping out setting up events and stuff. And then from there, worked with Kodachrome. They are a nonprofit dance organization down in North Carolina and Virginia. And I was the director of, I forgot what's my role, executive director. Sorry. And just from there, I just learned the importance of relationship building. And moving forward, worked with Ashley Poole, who was from Dream, then went on to move forward and worked with all different kind of acts and then moved to LA. And I reached a point where I thought I was kind of done with the whole entertainment thing. It just got very, let's just say rumors can be true. And so I transitioned myself into tech. And for some reason or another, my friends in entertainment never stopped calling me. So I started taking on entertainment consulting and taking on business clients on the side. So that's my story in the super, super condensed version of it.
That's awesome. I remember when we first met, it was through Kodachrome. And when I was living in North Carolina, and then I got to do take some behind the scene photos, set up a photo booth, and I really got to see the community of dancers. And I was never really a good dancer. I feel like I have two left feet. So while I was photographing some of the coaching workshops and community events, I was really in awe of seeing everyone coming together for the sole purpose of I felt it was self-expression through the
Yeah,
power of music and dance. And
yeah,
so maybe I did pick up salsa dancing a couple years later. I took a
nice.
couple lessons. That was when I was living in Texas, and that was fun. And I'm like, oh man, this is pretty cool. But I gotta give it out to you and everyone else that I know it's tons of hours of putting in work to make sure. And the things that I remembered was I couldn't believe the human body can do that.
Yeah,
And I'm trying to do it myself. I'm like, there's no way. I'm just gonna hurt myself or I'm gonna break something. So major kudos to everyone that is doing a performing art of that sort, and the time and effort and determination and the sacrifice it takes to do all that.
it's years and years of practice for dancers, and special shout out to everyone in the Kodachrome VA NC community, whether you were a staff member or attendee. Like, we all felt within the group, we all had something to contribute, something bigger than ourselves. And Lauren DeVera always put it best, like, it's not about being better than the person next to you. It's always being better being better than the last time you came. And so we always made that our mantra of just saying, like, try not to be competitive with the person beside you, try to grow with them and try to improve compared to last time. And yeah, I can tell you from my perspective, like coming from the NC dance community, I remember in 2004, we were all like blown away by You Got Served and Stomp the Yard and Step Up. And like, that was cool and all. And then when I graduated, and then I'd say when I came to visit a lot of my friends from different schools in 2010, I realized, like, oh crap, like none of us have evolved since 2004. And when I was living in DC, I realized how much they were growing. It was just because they were feeding off each other. And when the Kodachrome Day community caught wind of the North Carolina community, they were like, let's work this out. And my friends Raina and Tristan, we were like, let's do it. And the rest is history, really. But yeah, that experience was really, really pivotal to what I'm doing now. And even like throughout my entertainment life and even just regular work life, like, I know how to be a team leader, but also how to be a teammate and know when to step back and listen to others. So yeah, really fun time when I think about Kodachrome.
Awesome. Speaking of doing what you do now, let's
Yeah.
bring a little focus to what you do as an entertainment business consultant. So can you talk a little bit more about what you do in that realm?
Yeah, sure thing. So I will say, like, 2 years ago, I realized I was finally ready to go and pursue my MBA dreams. And it's been a long, long road. And I thought for sure I was going to be in finance. But then, like, as before, just different entertainment friends kept calling me. They're like, hey, like, what do you think of that? I'm just like, well, I'm out of the industry. They're like, yeah, but I trust your advice. And I was just like, fair enough. And yeah, helped out friends, whether like budgeting while they were on tour or just trying to give them contract advice, saying like, hey, so I know it says 20% of everything, but it doesn't say financial. So technically, if you get paid in chicken wings, you do a dance for your family, your manager's owed 20% of your chicken wings. And he thought I was kidding. I was like, no, unfortunately, I'm not, because it says the word everything. So just things like that. It was just, I don't know, for me, I'm just the type where, like, there's a lot of shady people in the industry, but there's a lot of good people in the industry. And so I just try to look out for them. And now I just kind of open it to a point where I'm just a general entertainment business consultant. And along with just kind of helping out with two friends of mine, one who's an actor and then another who's a background dancer, transitioning into acting or music, I got picked up by this new early stage tech company called Fire. And they are an early stage food tech startup. And they found me through the social media audio app Clubhouse. And I remember the CEO, Rob Latt, was he asked us like general marketing questions and like, how can you like generate demand for like home cooked chefs that like don't have any marketing budget and like don't know what to do. And I just thought in my head instantly, I was like, oh, I get what you're saying. Like us, since we're Filipino, like I was like, I just thought of all our aunties and uncles that like make lumpia, pantisal, like all the breads and desserts on the side and stuff. You're laughing. I know you get it. And then they sell it to like their like 5 to 10 to 20 friends. And then so I understood it instantly. I was like, oh, I get what you're saying. And I was like, well, with the rise, unfortunately, the AAPA crimes, like this is another way to shed light into like the Asian community. And like, we're not just like your pencil neck geeks. We're not just your average stereotype. Like, we're all trying to survive just like every single person on the planet. And he liked my answer, and he reached out to me privately, and he was just like, hey, would you be willing to work for us? And after some discussions, I was on board, and I joined them as a senior advisor / digital strategist. And now I kind of overlook and help them making sure they're kind of doing the right steps with their marketing plan, working with their chief marketing officer, Susan. And yeah, it's been a fun ride working with Sire ever since.
Special shout out to Clubhouse for connecting you. For our audience, as of I think today, Clubhouse is now open to everyone. It's not invite only. So it was really cool to get an invite. It was exclusive, kind of like the whole Facebook and also Gmail, getting email account. Now everyone is, and I'm thankful for Clubhouse myself. It's opened up some opportunities to get some guests on the show and some potential business stuff. But going back to the whole Filipino culture thing, you are so spot on with the network that our aunties, our titos and titas have when it comes to just doing a little bit of catering on the side. They know everyone, and they know how to get the word out.
Yes, I don't know how they do it.
And so I think that's awesome, and that's how part of your inspiration came up. And I want to dive in deeper with Sire, because I am super glad that you put out the Sire event in New York City that was on July 9th, that event, because that happened to be my birthday, and I happened to be in New York City at the time. So that was spot on. And for our audience that missed out, you really missed out. It was a lot of great food. It was it was a great time. And I just kept thinking about the food. I was going through my grams the other day and looking at all the different courses of meals, and I made sure I took a picture of the menu, because I think I got it wrong when I was trying to post it on my IG story about what one of the foods were. I think there was so I didn't know which one it was. So I'm like, let me just look up the menu again. But it was good. But I know that you had a big part in with the regards to being a digital strategist for that event. Could you go into a little bit of how what your role was for that event and how you helped make it so?
Yeah, sure thing. So before we were talking, and then you were saying like, could you also elaborate on what a digital strategist is? I never really thought about it. I just always knew instinctively, but like, just so people like who have no idea what that is, like, essentially it's someone who helps advise and like make sure like all the touch points digitally make sense. So in my case with Sire, like my overall job is just to make sure like that this advertising makes sense, does this marketing strategy make sense and resonate with our customers who are utilizing the app and buying from chefs or home cook chefs. And with the event in particular, this is where I say my Kodachrome experience really helped out, because our initial beta launch app, like, it was just a free event. Anyone could attend. We had a month to plan. It was great. This one, like, some of our friends who were on the TV show MasterChef reached out to our CEO and said like, hey, we want to like cook for all, like, for your customers. And we were like, okay, cool, when? And then they gave us 10 days. We were like, holy crap. And they don't come cheap, but like they wanted to make sure they did it for a good cause. And so we donated to what's going on in Burma, and then what's also going on in India, unfortunately, due to COVID. So it was all for a good cause. But the thing was, it was like, we needed to pack the room with 50 guests at $125 each, or $195 for the VIP invitation. So that's a huge like difference between being free and then being like in such high demand. And so like from my viewpoint, like we were working out like, okay, like how do we sell this? Initially, we were just trying to promote like, hey, there's these master chefs. And at first it was going well. We had some ticket sales, but then I realized this is where my Kodachrome mind came to mind when I think about like, okay, like I need to get like this amount of merchandise out. So like kind of creating that incentive to say like, once they're gone, they're gone. So like I kind of utilized the math. I said, okay, we have 10 VIP tickets and we have like 30 or yeah, 30 to 40 regular tickets. And I said like, okay, like every time like we got closer down to zero, like once that 2 tickets were sold to VIP guests, I would say like, okay, like on my social media personally, only 8 VIP tickets left. I didn't say 2 tickets were bought. So it's just like strategy. And also like I kept playing songs that were like Kesha's TikTok, like don't stop. Like I just wanted to create that incentive for demand. Like, holy crap, I better buy soon. And yeah, that really helped to kind of just like, oh man, I gotta be there. And one thing you gotta make sure as well is like you gotta make sure that core product is gonna be amazing. So luckily we had 2 master chefs like who were like number 4, number 5, I believe. And so I knew food wouldn't be an issue. So like you kind of just get their name out and just say like this is what comes with all the meals. And practically a 4 to 5 course meal with 2 to 4 wine pairings, all under $200 in New York is a really good steal. And yeah, let's just say like we overpacked the event and we were kind of freaking out. We were just like, holy crap, it's raining. Like the extra chairs we accommodated for extra guests like are now being raided upon. What do we do? I've never seen MasterChef before, but I have seen a lot of Gordon Ramsay shows, and I can now relate to that, where it's just like something happens, you're like, oh crap, let's adjust to it. Okay, adapt, move on, keep going, make sure the guests are entertained, they have fun. So I like to think, or the team and I, we like to think it went off really well. So I know you were there, and one, I just want to say happy birthday again. It was so awesome to see you. And I felt really bad when you were like, yeah, we live like 20 minutes away. I was like, crap, you're right. It took us to get to New York to finally see each other.
Hey, we do what we have to do. I mean, if food keeps bringing us together, we just got to have more of these events that you got to put out, and I'll just come to them. How about that?
Yeah, I think that works out perfectly.
And then going back to the whole weather thing, this was around the time that Tropical Storm Elsa was supposed to, I think it touched down a little bit in New York City area in the morning, and then your event was in the evening. So definitely some environmental factors you had to had to take into account with some of the outside seating.
Yeah, that was actually a huge debate behind the scenes. We're like, is it gonna rain? No, it's gonna like happen the night before. We're like, I think we're good. But luckily, Miriam, the person who owns the space that you were at, like luckily she gave us the keys, so we were able to open a spare room where like all our extra guests were able to eat, and we made it work. So yeah.
And it was a lot of fun, and I got to meet some new people there, and some of the people that I met were digital influencers to the New York City area that you helped coordinate to bring them on and help spread the word. So tell me a little bit more of how that came to be.
Yeah. So this stems back to when I was talking with the CEO, Rob Blatt, and the chief marketing officer, Susan. Like they noticed that like I'm very like acclimated to, I guess, the entertainment and like how to work with and deal with social media influencers. And I kind of warned them. I said, most of my contacts are in LA. I don't know if I can help you in New York. They're like, well, like we just need help and we don't have any money. Like, can you figure out a way? And so that was a cool challenge for me. So I was like, yeah, I think I can try to make it work. And so like when I tried to initially reach out to food influencers, it wasn't working. I come from the music, acting, like entertainment, dance side. And for me to like come across someone from New York, it's just like, who the heck are you? And so I kind of like changed my approach. And so I was looking at some of the people that were following Fire already. And I started to notice like some of my friends were already following. And then like I noticed like, well, if they're under like 10,000, I'm pretty sure I can get them to come. But if not, like I do have a few New York friends that, although they are a bit of a reach, I do know they support the Asian American community. And so that's what I did. I kind of like did a combination of the two. And I was lucky to find a really awesome foodie influencer named Jessica. I was able to meet her through 2 mutual friends of ours, Lauren Wynn and then Chris E. Is that his full last name? Like, I don't know. Sorry, Chris. I'm sorry, Chris, when you hear this.
We'll just bleep that out. No. We'll keep that in.
Yeah. Well, anyways, like Chris, and like Lauren introduced me to Chris. Chris introduced me to Jessica, and Jessica is just an awesome human being. And like, I don't know how, but she always attends all these foodie events. And then like we were like, hey, would you be interested to come? She said, absolutely. And then like next thing I know, so many posts from her. And on top of that, like I only had roughly two foodie influencers, her and Alex Chester, who at the time was prepping to become a chef and going to culinary school. That has since changed after since I talked with her. But I was just like, I need two more folks. And I realized like, well, I can rely on my friend Corio again, who's was part of the Kodogram community as well. And he's coming off a big acting job with Pierce Brosnan and Jamie Chung called The Misfits. I was like, I know he's an up and coming actor. I can kind of like finagle that with all like, not just the influencers, but the venture capitalists who are there to possibly invest in the company. And then I have my friend Ashley, who I happen to meet on Clubhouse again, and she's like an EDM raver / model. And so I thought in my head, I'm just like, I know they're not foodies, but I know they kind of can draw some attention, add that cool factor, like right alongside like Jessica and Alex, who are just as cool too. And so luckily 3 out of 4 of them were able to meet at the beta event, the first event with Buyers. So immediately at the second event, Alex was new coming in, but like the other 3 already knew how to interact. So they kind of just brought Alex welcome into the fold. And then when they met you, it was just kind of like everything was gelling, and it kind of like me just kind of like being aware of all their different types of personalities and them gelling the second time around. Like it made the VIP section even more fun, and even more like if you were at the event or if you were just watching, they were just posting constantly like, oh, this is so awesome, this is so cool. And the whole factor behind it is, you mentioned with Clubhouse, it was that exclusivity. It's just like, oh my gosh, what's this event? I got to be there. Like, holy crap! Like this EDM like model like is posting about this awesome food. This actress posting this awesome food. Like this actress like / like former like culinary like chef like trainee wanted like is posting about this food, and the foodie's posting about this food. Like for me, it was more like trying to generate demand in a very wide market, especially since I was very early stage startup. And at first I did get hesitation from the other team. They're like, they're not all foodie influencers. I said, like, trust me, like since it's the second event, like because the first event, like when I was trying to get them all on board, like they were all very quiet, trying to understand the brand. But now that they understand the brand, and like given how little time we have, this is the best option moving forward. And sure enough, there were so many stories to repost. And I don't know about
you only had 10 days to put this into action, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We only had 10 days. And so like when they were just posting, like while like there were times where I was kind of like in the kitchen with the master chef, like being yelled at, which was kind of fun actually. Like I had no idea what they're posting. I just hit repost, like add story. And then I didn't see it until like the next day, like after I woke up, I was like, wow, they did a really good job. And yeah, I like to say like just the increase in our social media influence and just our demand from our customers increased since then. I'm still looking at the data. It's very private and hard to, I guess, analyze right now, but it's been pretty cool, like what it's done for us. And
so it sounds like you're seeing the return on investment by leveraging influencers, even though they're not particularly in the food industry or in that part. But I think you're able to leverage their audience in order to amplify what event that you have going on, to include before, during, and then the aftermath of the Sire event on July 9th.
Yeah, absolutely.
I felt like the tactic and the strategies that you had for this event went well. If you were to tell a local business that is trying to get an outreach, say for an event of sorts, what are some things that you would tell a small business or any business about leveraging digital influencers for their cause or for their event, or say a product or service?
Yeah, a strategy that I hear consistently all the time is like, let's reach out to the biggest influencers with the biggest reach. And I always tell them, I'm like, do you have a budget for it? And if they say we don't, or we only have this much, I'm like, even if you could pay for them, like the problem is like, because all of us in Gen Y, millennials, I like to say Gen Y because growing in between Gen X and Gen Y, like it's just like, what am I? So I'd say Gen Y is a good medium. But growing in the Gen Y and then also Gen Z generation, like we're all very aware of like when one of our like favorite celebrities or influencers is like promoting a brand. And I just never felt like it kind of went far. Like it went to a certain extent, but like anyone you're trying to get as like an influencer, if they truly don't believe in what you're doing, it's just going to come off as a sell. It's just like, okay, this influencer is just trying to make money, like to support what they're doing. So yeah, I'll watch it or I'll like it, but whatever. But like if you get influencers that truly care the brand, and even though if they're not completely aligned, if they're somewhat adjacent to it, like for example, like I know my friend Corio like is a huge supporter of AAPI businesses, and he's always like being very vocal about like the atrocities going on with like the elder AAPI community. And I know with my friends like Ashley and Alex are huge fans of like Asian food, like obviously being Asian, but they're a huge supporter of like supporting the like New York community. And so although they weren't direct foodies, like it just made sense in my head. I'm like, I have one awesome foodie like already. I have two people who love to support like mom and pop businesses. I have one actor who's very vocal about supporting Asian local businesses. This makes sense. So what I'm trying to say, like very long form, is just like make sure the influencers you try to hire, one, makes sense for the brand, like whether some shape or form, but then two, also like they're very supportive of it. Like if you get anyone to just like support it and just say like, oh hey, like check out this cider event, it's really cool, will you be there? No, not really, but check it out. Like their market reach isn't gonna like go to that. Like, oh okay, I mean that's cool, but all right, and then scroll on up.
So really, it's budget is. It sounds like budget is an important part, but making sure that the influence you're trying to partner with is aligned, or at least somewhat with the values or of the understanding of the brand is what I understand from that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think about this in like general business terms, but the only thing I can think of really is like when Uniqlo was still like kind of exclusive to only being available in San Francisco and New York. Like they would do like these limited partnerships. You're just like, oh wow, like Uniqlo has partnered with like this brand. Like for example, I remember they partnered with like Metal Gear Solid, and like that's a huge game for us back in the day. It was just like, holy crap, Hideo Kojima's working with Uniqlo. Like I got to buy that stuff, but oh, let me buy that stuff as well. So like it made sense, and it made Uniqlo cool in my eyes. So like that's just kind of same thing with like small businesses in general. Like make sure it makes sense and make sure like there's a mutual benefit for both parties. If you get something just to say like, please do this and I'll pay you, like it's not going to resonate at all.
I wanna pick your brain about the future of using the influencers. An Ad Age article came up. The headline says how Cameo, this is the application Cameo, is taking on Facebook and TikTok in the race to connect brands with stars. And so for our audience that doesn't know, Cameo, you can pay a large bunch money, a couple hundred. I think Snoop Dogg was like $1,000. But you can get your own personalized video from a celebrity. It's like 30 seconds to a minute, but you can get it. And now Cameo is trying to say, hey, this was great for personal, but they're trying to create a business version of it. So that way you can get, I think it's going to be a little bit more, but I think Cameo is trying to make it where pretty much any business can get a shout out from a celebrity. I want to know your take on digital influencers now that businesses are now trying to capitalize on the influencing market and commercializing it. How do you see that affecting your digital strategy, but also the interactions with future digital influencers?
So I'm conflicted. Like my initial reaction of me being very pro organic and everything, just want to say like, that's a little hollow. But then when I think about like when I went to Salesforce in 2015 Dreamforce, and then the Foo Fighters performed, like, although I know Salesforce paid for it, I was like, holy crap, it's like for the Foo Fighters and Dave Grohl. Like I'm listening to like some of my favorite music ever. So I can see it working. But as long as they do a personal touch with it, that's what matters most. I remember when Cameo first came out, like I thought of like, respectfully, it just we're with celebrities who are on the downward slope, and but it's definitely turned into something really, really cool. Like whether you're on the come up, you're at the peak, or you're on the come down as an entertainment celebrity. Like any which way, like if your fans are loyal, they'll buy something from you, and I found that cool. And some of my favorite Cameo appearances, I'm in a tangent a little bit, was actually like professional wrestlers. The reason why I say that is just because like, not because they're putting on a character, but like they know like they're on the like near bottom rung as a celebrity. And so when someone takes the time to buy from them, they make sure it's really, really personable. I remember hearing like Jerry the King Lawler, very famous Memphis wrestling WWE wrestler. I remember a kid, like his parents bought him a happy birthday from Jerry Lawler. Jerry Lawler's rate was like roughly $1,000. Instead of that 30 seconds, like he spent like 5 to 6 minutes, like saying like, "Hey kid, like just want to say happy birthday to you. I heard you're a very big Batman fan. Well, let me show you all my Batman collectibles." And he just took the time, and like for me, like that was really cool. It's just like wow, like Jerry the King Lawler makes sure like you got your money's worth like for the $1,000. Like he said, like without even saying it, like you paid $1,000 for me to say 30 seconds. Let me go 6 minutes. It's your birthday. You're a huge fan of mine, and let alone you're 6 years old, so you were way young before like I was even in my prime. So like if like celebrities and like Cameo as a company can make sure it's personable, I think it's gonna be really awesome and like very motivational. Um, just gotta make sure like less is more and don't keep doing it and just say like, hey, we have Kanye West to kind of give you a shout out, and then like, hey, we kind of have like other celebrities giving you a shout out. Like after a while, it just becomes routine. Just like, oh, okay, like what celebrity did my company pay for? Cool, yeah, whatever. All right, time to go back to work. So yeah, sparingly.
I think you nailed it right at the beginning of that section where it says it has to feel organic and it needs to be authentic, believable, or else it doesn't come out as real.
No.
And I keep thinking about the movie. Oh, what's the one with Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson where he does the Centauri advertisement?
I know what you're talking about.
Was it Lost in Translation?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's trying to do this ad and they're trying to use his character to pitch it, and it just doesn't. They have to do so many takes. It just can't come out organically through him to do this whiskey thing for Centauri time. Great movie. And it just didn't feel. I felt when they were doing the ad segments, it just didn't come out right. So they kept doing it over and over and over again because the creative director was saying, you know, it was emphasizing do it again, but do it in this way, so that way it would be authentic to the audience. David, this has been an awesome time, and I really missed the food from Sire. I'm looking forward to the next event. If our audience wanted to get in touch with you and for some entertainment business consulting or find out when the next Sire event, how can our audience reach out to you?
So I will say, if you are a chef or someone that's interested in buying food, especially in the New York area, you can follow us at syr.meal, syr.meal, or you can find us in the Apple iTunes, not iTunes, what is it, Marketplace? SYR, we're right there. We're slowly getting some other home cooked chefs. We have someone selling peanut butter in Florida. Someone just bought from it. So I'm really excited to hear from one of our Florida customers. And then we just were able to get someone coming from Texas, and we're planning on the California market, pre-planning stages right now. And yeah, I think if you are a foodie and especially believe in like supporting like international, ethnic, or just folks who are just want to like make a living like on the side or full time, I think Sire is a really cool app and food tech startup you should check out. But if you want to reach out to me regarding entertainment business stuff, feel free to contact me. All my socials are the same: David Curameng, DavidCurameng. I have trouble spelling my own last name sometimes. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter. You can also find me on LinkedIn, and we can start from there. And I realize my demand is starting to build up on that end. So I'm really thinking about I should definitely set up an LLC now and kind of get that situated, because in my head I was thinking like, man, my taxes are going to be so painful when I do them next year. So
yeah. I need to go on the app, and I love peanut butter. So I'm glad you threw out that plug, because I love peanut butter. I want to check out the app for the person who's selling peanut butter from Florida. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, like it looks good. Like in my head, like I always am used to just grinding the peanut butter like at Whole Foods, and when she grinds her own peanut butter, I'm just like, I'm so curious and I want to try it, and I know there's no preservatives. Like, what is this deliciousness? But yeah,
it looks good. It's healthy, and I'm sure it's going to taste good. So win-win-win.
Really quickly, what was your favorite meal from the event?
Oh, it was. I'm gonna kill the name of it. So my favorite meal from the Sire event was it looked like a rice. I know I'm telling you, it's like a rice pilaf type dish.
Yeah.
That one was my favorite out of the 4 or 5 dishes that we had.
So that was actually the jackfruit, like I thought. So, like, yeah,
Yeah, I had to correct
because
that one on my Instagram story.
yeah, like I saw it from like our official Sire IG, and then from like all the other influencers, they were like, "This is the jackfruit." I was just like, "Oh, me and JR, we thought it was the dessert, but it was so good though."
It was good.
But
Got the
Suba,
name
we loved
wrong, but
it.
it was
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Chef Suba, if you're watching this, we loved it. Thank you much for the delicious meal. Same here, Chef Noah. Like, oh, such awesome food. So thank you both, and thank you everyone that attended the event and supported not only just Sire but just supporting a good cause and making sure like our just the citizens in Burma are being taken care of, at least like we can donate. And same with all the atrocities going on with COVID-19 in India. So that was the main purpose of that event. It wasn't to collect a lot of money from everybody. It was more like let's donate for a good cause, let's celebrate where we can, and let's just support each other. And yeah, that's about it. I'm so used to being in Clubhouse now and saying like, my name is David, I'm done speaking.
And this is JR. This has been a great time. And I think we are done speaking. Thanks, David, for
thanks,
being on.
thanks, JR. It's been great. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching another episode of the WazaMedia podcast. If you're interested in WazaMedia, go to our main channel over here. And if you want to listen to more podcast episodes, go over here. See you next time.